Hello, YouTube family. This is Cynthia again. This is my second episode of Knits by Scent. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to talk about projects, some of my favorite projects that I've worked on in the past, or I should say created, because they're made, and also some projects that I'm working on right now. Excuse me. I had planned to actually put my second video out last week, but some unexpected things kind of popped up on my recording day, and I couldn't ignore them, so I needed to deal with that. And then the rest of the week was just as crazy. But I survived, and here I am. So again, thank you for joining me, and hit that like button if you like my video, and subscribe if you want to know, and hit the bell so you know every time that I actually post a video. Okay, so I'm going to talk about things that I've worked on. All right, so let's see. Let's start with this. I actually just finished making this butterfly prayer shawl. It's not really pretty. This is actually a smaller one. This is my second one that I've made, and I made it with this yarn here. You can see that. It's from Hoodie. It's called Universal. It's 98% acrylic and 2% polyester, and it is I'm sorry. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a one. So one way. It's very, very thin. And I used I crocheted it, obviously. So I did use a 3.5. I think I did a 3.75 millimeter hook. But the yarn itself calls for a 3.5, so I just went up a smidge. It's 100 grams and 462 meters, or 505 yards. I used one and roughly a half. This is the second cake that I used. It's really pretty yarn. And the first butterfly shawl I made, let me see if I can get my hands on it. Here it is. Sorry, I have stuff everywhere, but I wanted to share this with you. So anyway, so this is the first one I made. It's much, much bigger. It's really big. Like, I can't even get it in the picture. It's huge. Sorry. Yeah. I need to send this to my auntie, who's also my godmother. She loves the Cowboys here in the United States football team, American football, and she also loves butterflies. So I came across this yarn, which is, this is actually a cookie yarn. Yeah, I think this is this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a cookie yarn, again from Hoodie. I don't remember the name of the yarn on the package. I just saw the color of it, and I thought, yep, I need to make that for my godmother. Well, I bought the yarn. I didn't know what I was going to make with it. And then when I came across the pattern for the butterfly shawl, I thought, perfect. So I made this for her. And actually for both of, I don't know if you can see that there is what Jada in Stitches calls fritterly. But it's like it's a type of picot stitch. And I actually did it for both of these butterfly shawls. I need to block this pink and black one, and clearly sew in my ends. So that makes it really like pretty. All right, so I'm gonna put these over here, and I have a bin over here to my side, just so I'm not throwing stuff on my floor. I have no furry friends here. I'm not against furry friends. I just don't have any. In part because, yeah, I do crochet. I make things for people, and I don't want animal hair in it. And also, my husband loves to bake cheesecakes. He's his sidekick, and that he enjoys doing, and we just think that's not a good idea. That's our opinion. But we do like the furry creatures. So instead, I have 2 aquatic turtles. Anyway, so this was a triangle shawl that I made. It's just a very simple double crochet stitch. And I used It's a Wrap yarn by Red Heart. I don't remember the colorway for this, and I probably have one around here somewhere. And I have a few more. I actually got the blue shaded one and the black, white, and gray. I think it's white, or maybe a lighter gray, darker gray, and black. Anyway, so I did that. This was my first viral shawl that I made. Very super pretty. Enjoy that. And I actually, this was actually Stitch Studio yarn. So that's when I've had this yarn for a while. I have a lot of my yarn that I've had for a while because there's one of me, lots of projects up here and just not enough time in the day. But anyway, so AC Moore was one of the craft stores that was in my area in Northern Virginia. I believe it's Canadian based, I think. But anyway, so they had gone out of business a few years ago, like I think it was right before the days of COVID. It was a little sad. I do like some of their yarn. Michael's bought some of the stores out, I believe, at least in my area. So anyway, so this is a cotton yarn. You can get this at Hobie also, and I believe Hobby Lobby has the same type of yarn. It might be called something different, but this was Stitch Studio by Nicole, which was, for me in my case, AC Moore brand yarn. It's cotton. Let's see. It's a number 2, which I have my glasses on. 4mm. That's probably what I use. I may have done a 4 or 4.5. It's a lot of yardage in this. 1,000 and I think it's 93 yards. 1,000 millimeters. So yes, very pretty, very colorful. So this was my, like I said, my first viral shawl that I did. I made another one with, it was a multicolor. It had like turquoise and like burgundies and purple, like purples, like really rich colors, with a universal, this exact yarn in a different color. And I actually gifted that to my weight loss coach. So yes, I've been on a weight loss journey since last fall, and I am down 43 pounds, and I have 7 pounds to go to reach my goal. I'm so excited. But anyway, so there's that. So this pattern, oh, sorry, let me get the, yeah, I'm terrible at sewing my ends right away. I'll admit it. This is actually a pattern, if you can see it. It's another triangle shawl. I do like to make them a lot, as you'll probably see. But this is a Tunisian crochet pattern by TL Yarn Crafts. Sorry, I did have the name of the pattern on my desk, and apparently I moved it. That's gonna really annoy me because I'm trying to remember the name of it. But anyway, so I've made a few Tunisian things, and I've gifted them to people. But I really like this because it was my first time doing the honeycomb stitch. Love that. Super easy. I used this yarn, I'm pretty sure I got from Hobie. Again, a long time ago. It's called Cloudborne Fibers, Highland Worsted. And I think the name of this is Maze Heather. Yeah, I happened to find one of the tags from the yarn. It's like, oh, let me keep that because one day I might talk about it. Today's that day. And again, so because I did Tunisian crochet, I used, I believe, maybe a 5.5 Tunisian hook, actually with a cord, because it gets, it starts off in a corner and then it gets bigger. So actually this was the starting corner, I can tell because of the yarn that the tail I need to weave in right there. So, and then it gets, bigger, and then you do a border, the honeycomb border across the top. So it goes like that. So anyway, I love this. I have to make another one, and I will. Okay. Another thing I made. This is another one of my favorite things. So this is actually a poncho with a large, like, cowl type of collar on it. There are no holes in it. It actually starts at the top, and then, you know, it just gets larger and larger around the bottom. And then I did a shell stitch on the bottom of it. I don't remember the name of the pattern. I'd have to find it, but it's basically a double crochet pattern. The collar has front post and back post stitches on it, and I used homespun yarn. I believe I used 3 skeins. It might have been more, honestly. I'm tall. I'm 5'9", and I know it comes like it's about down to the, you know, to the bottom of my thighs, I say, but above my knees. But you know, it's pretty long because I'm long. So, and I did make it for me, and it's warm. Let me tell you, it's really nice. It's warm. Yes, I like that. One time I wore it to work. We were having a baby shower for one of my coworkers, and it was my day off, and I came in, I had that on, and my boss went nuts, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Did you make that? Can I take a picture of my mom? I think my mom can make that." Which I was not offended, because I was like, please don't ask me to make that. I mean, I like her. I would have made it if she asked me to, but I'm like, it took me a while. It took me a while to do that. So, but she was just so excited. It was so funny. Just like, who are you? No, she's cool. Anyway, so this was one of my first knitted, like, big project with the 2 needle knitting, and I was so excited to make this. Actually, again, this is like, we're going back some time with this. So this yarn, it's a self-changing yarn. It's a number, I think it's a bulky 5, maybe a bulky 6. This was I think Karen Cakes, like these beautiful, like, rich fall colors. Love it. So I watched Marley Bird make this pattern. Again, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it. But anyway, so I made it. It's not the sidewalk shawl. I do know that much. Or maybe it is called the sidewalk shawl. Might be. But anyway, if you put Marley Bird's channel, you'll find it. And then I just have this pin on it to help close it. But yes, another, you know, one of my shawls. Sometimes I'll actually smack myself in the face. Yeah, knock yourself out, Cynthia. Anyway, so, you know, you can wear it this way. I probably made it a little bit bigger than what the pattern called for. Again, because I'm tall and I don't like tiny things on me. Doesn't feel good. Just kidding. Anyway, so there's that. What else? So this is my first wearable in the sense of, like, it's a sweater, right? I watched a video, I believe her name is Onya, O-A-N-L-A, something like that. Anyway, very easy pattern to make. And I did this with this yarn that I keep thinking I got rid of. Not rid of, but like I gave my daughter a bunch. But first, before I gave her a bunch, this is mandala, and I used this Chloe here, which is called Genie. So when I first started out, I didn't understand like how much yardage was, the different weights of yarn. I knew nothing. I just know I wanted to make stuff. So I thought in my mind that I might make a blanket for my oldest daughter with this yarn because she really likes the color. And then I realized how thin it was. I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's going to happen. Needless to say, it has not happened. But I did have this yarn. I'm like, I made a couple of smaller things. And I'm like, I need to do something with this yarn. So in the video that Anya made her sweater with, she used mandala yarn. And perfect. I still have like, I don't know, 10 skeins of that yarn. So I thought it was a great way to like use up at least a good bulk of the yarn. When I tell you, I think I had 30 cakes, or at least close to it. It was a lot. It was ridiculous. I don't know if it was that many, but it was a whole lot. So anyway, so I thought this would be a great project to use up a good chunk of that yarn. And so it just really starts right here at the collar. can show you that. And I can't tell you which side is the inside or the outside. And so this part right here is the added border. So it really starts right here with double crochets right there. And it gets bigger and you have gaps and what have you, as you can see. And then you know, she tells you how to measure like down past your armpit, so you know how to make your collars. I mean, I'm sorry, your sleeves rather. So, and then you just basically go back and forth from the top to about, you know, right here-ish. And then, and all that part includes the parts of the sleeve to a point, right? And then you stop making the sleeve, and then you just do the rest of the body until it's as long as you want it. And then you go back and you add the sleeves. And so I tried to do the sleeves about the same if I could, you know. So there was some color mapping, I guess that's what you call it, where especially with the sleeves, I was trying to make them look the same as best as I could. And I think I did a pretty good job with it. So yay me. So really proud of that project. Yep, took me several weeks to get that done. And I went to New York. One of the times I went to New York after I made that, and I took it with me. And matter of fact, it was last summer. And I told my daughter, I was like, you're going to see me wear something and you cannot have it. And so when she saw it, she goes, okay, but can you make me one? So I'm like, yeah, I can make that happen. I haven't started yet, but I'm pretty sure she'll get it. All right. And let's see, what is this? Oh yeah, this is it's a very simple shawl that I made, and with this very pretty, I just love the color of this yarn. I'm sure this is a Red Heart yarn. I could not begin to tell you what the colorway is, but with these olive greens and purple, and it's just really pretty. And I also made here's the hat. I made a messy bun hat. I crocheted obviously both of them. Oops, that's inside out. And I made a messy bun hat. It's a little bit loose on my head, but I have, you know, a lot of hair. So my hats do have to be a little bit big because, well, I got a lot of hair. And then, you know, it's just easy just with the messy bun hat to like pop it up through the hole. And I don't always wear messy bun hats. I just wear like a regular closed hat, and I just obviously don't put my head up in a ponytail like these hats right here. I actually made these three hats right here. I just finished this one yesterday, I think, maybe the night before, on a loom. These two are the same pattern. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's a very easy chevron pattern, and I used the knitting board loom. Hold on. Second. This one here, the orange 80 peg. And the pattern actually is specifically for this loom, but it doesn't have to be for that loom. But it's 80 pegs. That's the whole point, is to, for the count, the stitch count when you're doing the pattern. And this one was just a very simple, again, sewing a bunch of, can you tell I'm not crazy about sewing in ends? Yeah. Anyway, so I did this on the same loom. It's just a simple, you know, knitted pattern. There you go. See? I think I might put this faux pom-pom on top. Where's a little doodad? There it is. I had got you know, it's pink and white. Yeah, haven't decided. Oh, there's a pink one in here. So a while ago, like many things. They're escaping. I have to put that in something. But anyway, I didn't realize there was a pink one in here. About that. Look at that. Oh, my light might be kind of too bright. But either way, I haven't decided. So anyway, a while ago, I had actually purchased a pack. And I think it was like 36 full pom-poms in that pack. And I got it from Amazon. I recently, I don't have the hat. I made a hat on a loom with the 36 peg, the wider gauge loom. Give me a second. Oh, this one here. And I just did like a double brimmed cuff, and then I did the heart stitch. And in a beige, one of my friends from church, she had a nice, really nice coat on, and it was like plaid, was like classy, and where she told me she got it from, like, and she's like, oh yeah, they're on sale. So I looked it up, and I'm like, yeah, that my budget's like, yeah, no. But anyway, she didn't have a hat, and so she has a smaller like size head than I do, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make her a hat. So I had plenty of yarn to choose from, but you know, even that would match her coat. And so I made it, and then I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll put a faux pom-pom on top, which made me open up that pack that's been sitting there for, I don't know, a few years. So, but that's okay. Okay, so actually, before I talk about that one, I'm going to talk about Mosaic. I told you before, Mosaic crochet is one of my favorite things. It is and it's not, only because you have to deal with the ends, right? But this was my first Mosaic project right here. Yep, it's a wrap, long wrap. And I used Patterns by Tenna. And then after I did the body, I hadn't dealt with the border, in part because I knew it was going to be like double the work because it's encased, right? So the ends are inside, you can't see them, but it's envelope, but it does make the finished project look so much nicer. So yes, so this was my first Mosaic project. And this yarn that I used, and it was heather gray and a pink, and I don't know like which pink, and I used Pound of Love for that. So this Mosaic project, I call it my earth blanket. And the reason why I call it my earth blanket, first of all, this thing is huge. It's really, really big. Okay. So it's, again, this is actually the Pattern by Tenna. And what I used was Red Heart ombre yarns. So the bottom starts with the I use the black and gray shades with the brown shades of brown. All of the yarns are the ombre yarns, and then, you know, rows of brown. Then I started introducing the green, so you got the core, you got the grass, and then you have the purples and reds, and so it starts to mix up. And so these all these wonderful brighter colors here in the middle, like those are the flowers. And then we go to the sky. The only one that's not ombre actually is the white, because, well, they don't make that. But these are supposed to be stars. And then and the yellow also, because at the time I couldn't find an ombre yellow, but that's okay. I think they have one now, but it's all good. And then the night with the stars. So I call it my earth blanket because of the different colors and the order that I did it on purpose. And then I did a black border with it. So this particular project, I started it probably 2 years before I actually finished it. So definitely before the days of COVID, I started it. I don't remember why I put it down other than to say I was working on other projects. And I was probably about halfway done. And I had taken pictures along the way, and I think I was about halfway done, yeah. And then one day I looked at it, I said, you know what? I'm going to finish that. And I may have finished it in 2020 or 2021. And I also had to face the border. But that's okay, because it makes it look so much better with the border. And I sleep with this blanket on my side of the bed every night. It's really warm. All right. And then this blanket I just finished. I have to block it. It's just a very simple baby blanket. One of my friends from church is having a little boy in March. I have to, you know, do my ends and stuff. I used Oh my goodness. What is the name of the yarn? It is one of the Joanne yarns. Oh, wow. I really cannot remember the name of the yarn. That's ridiculous. And this is another one of these yarns, and I know I have another ball around here somewhere, but the label's not on it, so it doesn't even matter. That of the blue anyway, that I'm like, oh, I thought I used up all of that yarn. No, I just found another ball, like it's balled up in my stash. And one of these days I'll get around to doing a stash buster someday or something, like make hats or whatever. And it's the same yarn as the pink yarn. And I did have all this stuff out last week when I was planning to do this video, and apparently I put things away and forgot where I put it. All right. So last blanket that I made, this again, it's so this is a, technically it's called a 10-stitch blanket, right? But if you look close enough, you'll see it's more than 10 stitches in there. And that's because I use, when I make my blankets like this, which is one of my go-to blankets, I use it, and I do mine on the loom. You can knit it, you can crochet it, you can Tunisian crochet it. Those have not worked out for me. So what does work out for me is using a loom. This is a Cindy wood loom. I have, this one's a 5/8 inch, so there's 15 pegs on it. I also have the 1/2 inch one, and it has 20 pegs on it. I do believe I use the same loom for this blanket as I'm doing for this blanket that I'm going to talk about in a minute. This again was a like inspirations yarn, I believe, in aqua color. And when I make my tints, you can make it without that that texture on it, like that ridge, but I really like the ridge. I just really like it. And this is a pretty good size blanket. You know, it's probably like 2.5 feet, 3 feet, maybe by perhaps 5 feet. It's really big. Self-changing yarn. Really like it. The yarn it is a number 6, I believe, but it is heavy, but it's not like densely heavy, if that makes any sense. So, all right. So for projects that I'm working on, I'm going to go ahead and start with my 10-stitch blanket. So I have, looking over there, I have so much homespun yarn. It goes back to the days of I didn't understand how much a yard was in yarn terms and that sort of thing. I mean, a yard is a yard, right? But I wasn't getting like how much that is. So I went kind of bonkers with like homespun yarn. And even even after making that poncho, I still have like 6 skeins of that purple yarn, that particular one alone. But I have a lighter purple, light blue, multicolor, like a dark black, lighter grayish black, a red, and then some like black. Yeah. So last year I was thinking, like, I really want to do something with this yarn. And I thought, you know what? It might take me a year, it might take me 2 years, I don't know. Because I don't work on it all the time. But I did start this on January 1, 2023. And I just got to the end of the one and only white skein of yarn I have. This is the last of it. So I'm going to cut it because I'm ready to move on to a corner. And so the next color, because I only have this one skein and a little ball somewhere up here. Roll back there. I'll get it. Of this one, which is called Windsor. So Windsor is going to be color 2. And I am not sure, I might make it around 1 time. And that's okay if I make that around 1 time. Because it is 15 stitches. You do it exactly like you would do a 10-stitch. I just do it with 15 stitches instead. So it makes it a little bit wider. You kind of get done slightly faster, but it's still, you know, because it'll just get wider and longer and wider and longer like this one. But it's going to be ginormous because I plan to use all of that yarn for this blanket. So After I do Windsor, I'm going to move on to the light blue, then the lavender, which is yarn, and then the darker purple, then the black. And oh, I have one skein of red, and yeah, one skein of red. And that one I'm thinking, because it's just one skein, it's not gonna, I don't want to start using it in the blanket and then I'm gonna run out, like maybe after one side or something crazy like that. That would not be good for me. I mean, it just wouldn't look good to me. So I think I might try to do like maybe like some sort of simple border with it, and then, you know, if I have a little bit left, so be it. And if I use it down to the last inch, great. Perfect. All right, so that's one of my projects that I'm working on. Another project that I'm working on, again with some more of this yarn, I am making, it actually got tangled up. There we go. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff on my desk right now. Some water. All right. I am making another shawl. This is a shawl with bobbles on it. So Mikey on Crochet Crowd has a little tutorial on how to, you know, make this shawl, and he started talking about like a slight modification with the stitches. And honestly, when I was watching, my head was hurting and I was a little bit sleepy. So I know, and I got the pattern, and I know I'm not doing exactly like how the pattern says. I may or may not be doing it how he said to modify it. But basically, you know, I like it. So, you know, you're doing right now. So this is the back side that I stopped down here. So every other row, you're after the, I think it's the 5th row, I believe. You're doing bobbles, and the bobbles are, you know, 4 stitches rather. I did do some that are 5 because I wanted to see what it would look like if it was slightly like 1 extra stitch in the bobble. And then the other row is just double crochets around, so to help those bobbles pop out, and it's flat on the back side. So that's the back side there. But yeah, it's that same, you know, mandala yarn that I thought I got rid of. So when I say I thought I got rid of, after making my jacket, oh great, just pull some out. Oh well, after I made my jacket, I gave a lot to my youngest daughter, who is also into yarn work. She actually just loom knits right now. She tried crocheting. It wasn't quite working out for her yet. I'm like, hey, I get that. That happened with me too. And you know, you just go back to it. I've done that like countless times. When I try something, whether it's a pattern or a new type of yarn craft, and I'm just like, this is not coming out how I wanted it to. And it's just like, hey, no problem. Put that down. Come back to it. All right, so this project here. Oh, goodness. I was so excited about this, but I'm not happy with it. So I'm not sure. That's the back side. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So this is upside down. Okay. All right. So this blanket is for my husband. He plays the drums at church, and I wanted to make him something different, but he wanted the A&T, sorry, North Carolina school colors, because that's where his oldest daughter is going to school right now. So I was like, okay, no problem. So when I was making it, and it's made with crocheting 2 half double crochets together, which is pretty cool. So I learned that technique. I was like, what? So I read the instructions how to do that. Okay, no problem. But I don't know if you can see this. So like that blue is bleeding through the yellow, and I don't like it. So like that's the bottom of the stand, and then you're coming up to the percussion with the drumsticks. Supposed to be like hitting the drum. And I did at this point, this is between a quarter and a halfway, the halfway mark. But I'm not really happy with it. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna take it out and start it over or just keep pressing forward. He's not fussy, I'm the fussy one because I'm not really happy with it. So I haven't decided. So for now, I just I put it down until I decide how I'm going to fix that. I was going to talk about this too. So to help me with all of that, because it's also like doing tapestry, just to let you know. So there's like some, you know, crocheting over yarn and stuff like that. That part's pretty cool. So I got this from Amazon. This is not a super expensive one. It was reasonable. Actually, I got, oh yeah, look at that. I got 2 sets because I knew I was going to need more than one. Oop. And it wasn't turning very easy. So my husband told me about this little trick of taking candle wax and rubbing the bottom of it so it would spin better, because it was just like, it's almost like unfinished wood, even though it's sanded and there might be like a little something on it, but like on the part where it spins, it was not spinning very smoothly. So he told me that little trick. I have so much stuff on my desk, it's crazy. But anyway, so thank you for joining me today again, and I just wanted to talk about some of my favorite projects that I made, and that's not all of them because some of them are just not here. I've gifted them, or so someone bought something. Most of my things have been gifted to people. But yeah, so I just wanted to share what I had on hand of my favorite projects, and thank you again for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. All right, peace out. Stay healthy.